Hello everyone and welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm taking this medium and as well go cap in hand to tell you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just click on the subscription button and as well click the notification button so as to receive notification of all our videos that will be dropping on it. And after which you can like, you can comment and as well share on all various social media platforms. And trust me, it's gonna be very inspiring one, very motivating and edifying. Thank you so much. Bye.
We bless the Lord for the grace so far, and we trust Him that He who has brought us to this point will help us to the very end. I want to continue from where the other speaker stops, but I want to go back a little. There's something, or there are some few things I want to bring out before I continue that I forgot to explain the other time. I want us to go back to that Genesis chapter 2, and we may not really read it. I want to talk about, the Bible says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall be joined to his wife. Other translation says he will cleave unto his wife, and they are no longer two, but one. I will defer the oneness of the two of them till the later part of this teaching, but I want to talk briefly about living. Therefore shall a man live and then cleave. Living and cleaving. Living and cleaving. There are quite a number of things I've always been somehow against. I always discover that there are some messages or some things that we say on the day of marriage that I look at it like, and I felt it's not needed again that day. It takes the grace of God for a brother and sister on their wedding. I don't know. A few people who are here may bear me witness. Mind is not really on the message on that day. On the wedding day, mind is not really on the sermon. So most of the sermons that preachers preach, they are actually preaching to the audience. 5% of it did not enter, and if it enters, only 1 or 2 enters as they are seated and they are looking at the preacher as if they are following. They are not following. Calculations upon calculations are going on in their mind. Lecturers from Oshogbo, how many of them will be coming? Association of Kidiko, that where I'm working. Hey, the last time, some of them are saying, we are coming to your wedding. Hey, if all of them come, with the food go round. So that is all that is going on in their mind. They are not really listening to the sermon. So I believe in preaching everything you want to preach to both the brother and the sister before that day. Tell them everything that you need to tell them. And let them just enjoy that day. Let that day be just for enjoyment. And if you are preaching, have it in mind that you are preaching to the audience, not to the two of them. If you are telling a brother and a sister on their wedding day to leave their parents and cleave, or especially brother, they always face that message to the husband that they should leave their, and that day they tell the two of them, and even some preachers will say, where is the bride's parents? Where is it? Please, oh, leave them alone, oh. Don't disturb them, oh. Oh. Yemu. Let me tell you this. If you don't leave your father and mother now, if you get married with you tying to your mom or dad's apron, it will be very difficult for you to detach after marriage. Living and cleaving actually ought to take place when someone gives his life to Christ. You ought to leave your father and mother shortly after you give your life to Christ, because Christ becomes your Lord. I don't know, maybe many Christians don't know the meaning of Christ being the Lord over their lives. And you understand that living is not that you tell them, now I'm born again, or now I'm going to marry mommy and daddy. You have nothing to say again to my life. I'm leaving you. The Bible says I should leave you. It's not that type. But the thing is, no one, you don't allow, all the link and the connections between you and them is broken. You are now connected to Christ. They have become, what do they call it in medicine now? Appendix. They don't have the final say over your life. If you can't win that till you get into marriage, you are not likely to win that after your marriage. If they are still if your mommy is still the last authority, the final say over your life before you get married, she's likely to continue to be the final say over you after you get married. The same thing goes for the man. And so living and cleaving is now, not on the day of marriage. Your parents must know that you are now a child of God. And so, and how do you do it? Now when they are telling you something, you should let them understand that, okay, mommy, I've heard, I will pray about it. Immediately you are telling them, I will pray about it. By the time you tell them once, twice, 3 times like that, immediately the next one they will tell you, they will say, I know, go and pray about it. They are the one who will tell you to do what? To go and pray about it. You are telling them that you are not the final say. You are no longer the final say over my life. It is Jesus. And once you are able to do that before you get into marriage, you will not put your husband into trouble or put your wife into trouble. Because if you don't do it like that, and they have known you, that they will only advise you. What I'm saying in essence is, let them know that they can only advise you, and you have the right to either take it or not take it. If you don't do it now, by the time you get married and you want to do it, they will say that it is your wife that is using you against them. And you will put your wife in trouble. They will not face you again. It is your wife that they will be facing. They will say, the same thing for the wife too. If you are the type that have always been listening to your dad or your mom all the time, before you do anything, in fact, even before you poo, you will tell your mom, as old as you are. And now that you are married and you are not telling your mom anything again, or you tell your mom and your mom is advising you and you are saying, no, mommy, I will tell my husband. They will think it's your husband that is using you against them. But if you have drawn the line now, and the line is clearly drawn, they know that whatever they are giving you is just an advice. You will not have problem when you get married. So it's better you live now before you get married, so that you'll be able to cleave properly. Nothing will your ateco after marriage will not just turn to ordinary gum that they are using to gum paper. So it's better you live now, so that when you want to cleave, you'll be able to properly cleave to your wife. And then cleaving, maybe later we will talk about the issue of cleaving to your wife. He mentioned something, and some of us are laughing, that when you get your salary as a woman, you give it to your husband, and you give it to, in this 21st century, But when we get to the matter of cleaving, they are no longer two, but one. Then I will explain better.